Firstly, I just want to thank Peter in South Australia for welcoming us, to this great state and city. It's actually the first time I've been to Adelaide, and it surely hasn't disappointed. Just looking behind me and playing at this stadium tomorrow, you see it on TV a lot of the time with both AFL and cricket, and it's a privilege for us as Wallabies, as Shannon would say, to represent the country here at this stadium and in front of the Adelaide crowd. So I just want to thank you all, and we're looking forward to it for tomorrow.
James, first impressions of the stadium. What sort of track do you think it's going to be?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, just walking through the tunnel coming out. As I said just before, there's a lot of history here, and us as a Wallaby team are really excited to be here and playing international rugby in front of this crowd.
You guys are both coming off 2 losses, South Africa as well. How has your mindset changed in the last sort of week? What sort of changes have you made to prepare yourself?
Look, we've got to be better. We know that, and I think Rens has come out and said that. So for us as a playing group, we've worked pretty hard over the last week. We had a disappointing result in Argentina a couple of weeks ago, and the task is now South Africa, which is a pretty tough one. They're obviously the defending world champions, or World Cup winners, so they've knocked off the All Blacks in the last couple of weeks as well. So they're big boys, they're big men, and one thing I do know is it's going to be a physical game. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully we get the result.
South Australia's a pretty AFL mad state. Some would even say that rugby's a bit of an exotic game here. What would you say to South Australians where this might be their first introduction to the game of rugby union?
AFL's huge, I know that, but also cricket. But in terms of rugby's a global game that I guess anyone can play. And in terms of the Adelaide crowd coming down to enjoy not only the rugby but supporting the women's game as well is really important for us. At the end of the day, we're an Australian team. We're representing the people of Australia, and we really take that. We really put a focus on that as a team, and that you come down and hopefully we can put on a performance that you're proud of. That's for sure.
What can the playing group tomorrow do to help Noah Lolesio out have a good game?
It's a good question. Being a 5'8" in a rugby team is probably the most important position, and Noah's he's a young boy or young man, and one thing I know about Noah playing with him at the Brumbies is he's a confident bloke. So the occasion won't get to him, but for us as players and teammates, we just got to win the battle up front. We got to be physical. We know where South Africa are coming. They're going to come with a big set piece focus, try and really bash us up in the middle, and they'll kick a lot. So it's about nullifying the kicking game and giving Noah some good clean ball.
Just on that, he's obviously been in and out of the side at the moment. You say he's a confident guy. How is his confidence going at the moment?
No, he's good. He's good. Noah's chirpy as ever, but that's what you expect from him. And he's a great player to play with. He plays on the front foot really well, and he really I guess that game of managing the game is where he's improved a lot. So hopefully we can see a really good game from him, but we know we've got to do a job around him.
Have you been in touch with Michael Hooper, and when do you think he can come back?
I have been in touch with Hoops, and I don't think there's a timeline on his return, and nor should there. I think the most important thing is that Hoops takes the time that's needed for him to be all right to come back, and he's got the full support of the playing group and the wider rugby community, because mental health is a big part of the world we live in today, and it's something that we've got to take really with importance.
James, I don't want to put the mock on you guys, but you actually seem to have had a trouble-free build-up to this game as opposed to what you've had in the last two. How much better is that, I suppose, without whatever went on in Argentina? It must have been really tough going into those games with all the injuries and moves and so on.
Look, that Argentinian tour was one of the toughest I've been on. We had plenty of blokes drop out of the team after it's been named. We had our captain leave the group. So there was a fair bit of adversity there, but from adversity you grow stronger. That's kind of where I've pushed the team is we get challenged every day, so it's about turning up every day and trying to get better. In terms of this preparation, it's been great. We've worked hard, as I said earlier, but we're going into the game with confidence, and that's all I can ask of the boys, and make sure that we do the jersey proud.
Mate, you often joke about sort of being old and broken, that kind of thing, but this team's relied on you pretty heavily on both sides of the scrum the last little while, and like, obviously captaincy as well. Are you happy to keep shouldering that burden?
Yeah. Look, it kind of just went that way, and at no stage did I start this year thinking I was going to be the captain of the Wallabies, and it's something that doesn't drive me, but it's something I'm capable of doing, and something I'm very proud of doing as well. So until that time comes where I get the tap on the shoulder to move away, that's when I'll just give it my all. So I'm quite comfortable in the job at hand.
James,
A
Laurie,
couple more, sorry guys, then we'll get to Shannon, please.
Laurie Fisher's come to the squad recently. How has your defence changed since how has his impact changed the group?
Yeah, Lord's he's been a great inclusion in the coaching staff. He obviously brings a lot of experience. You know, he's been around the game for probably 50 years. I actually don't even know how old he is. So he's a good man. He gets around the players. The players really respond well to him. He's only had a week of prep with us, so I guess time will tell how much of a difference he's made. But he's an experienced coach, and the players have really bought into what he's trying to do. So we've got a big task ahead of us. We know what's coming.
Sips, how do you address these slow starts?
That's a really good question. If I knew the answer to that, I guess I'd be the head coach. But I think the way we train, the way we prepare, I guess preparation's everything, isn't it, when you come into a test match? And I think out of all 5 tests we've played so far this year, we've lost the first 25 minutes in each game. So, it's been definitely spoken about, the start of the game, and hopefully we can put South Africa under a bit of heat early.
But more so than usual? Like, has there been an extra emphasis this week about addressing that?
Yeah, there has. It comes down to, I guess, creating opportunities and then taking them. We're a team that, especially in these last 5 games, we've created a lot, but probably haven't had the polish to put them away or take points when they're on offer. So for us, at training, it's been a big emphasis to take those opportunities.
Dave Brennan was talking about...
We'll have to bring Shannon in, mate, because we've got to move
Okay,
to the tempo.
sure, mate.
Thanks, Shannon.
Firstly, just like to thank Pete and the Adelaide community for really embracing us this week. We've been doing a lot of community engagement, and it's been really pleasing for us as female athletes of a driving sport, the amount of youngsters that are here in Adelaide really embracing the game. We're fortunate enough to get down to Burnside Rugby Union Club later in the week and have a session there and a clinic there with the under 12 to under 16 girls, and they're playing Tasmania today, so just want to wish them all the best. But the hospitality here has been absolutely fantastic, and what a better way to finish off the week with a double header for the first time here in Adelaide for us. It's a really exciting opportunity for us on Saturday. We're looking forward to.
Shannon, just on that, how important for the development of the female game is it to have a double header like this in a market that's not necessarily a rugby market?
Yeah, I think it's massive. Anytime you get to play in Australia is always something special, but to be able to play here in the AFL heartland, that's part of breaking down barriers for women's sport. And I think for us, the engagement we could see in the local juniors was phenomenal. Girls that are new to sport within the last 6 months and are really loving it, getting a ball in hand, and that's I guess our role and our responsibility of being in that national team is to create a pathway so these youngsters, if they do want to be a Wallaroo down the track, there is that opportunity there for them.
Is Eve Kapani, she's the Adelaide girl, right? She's been showing you around, I suppose.
Yeah, Eva Kapani, the Queen of Adelaide, she's been nicknamed this week. No, it's been really good. She showed us the local hotspots, the cafes and restaurants to go to, so it's always nice to have a local here, and she's going to be really proud to have a number of family and friends in the grandstand this weekend, so hopefully we can put in a good performance for her as well.
I guess a disappointing result last time out. What's the difference between you and New Zealand right now, and how do you cut that gap, do you think?
Yeah, last week was very disappointing for us. We had the best probably training week we've had in a long time, and to put in a poor performance like that is something that we've reviewed hard early in the week. But for us, it's about moving on now. We can't deal with that now. It's done. It's water under the bridge. So, we've been more focusing on us and our strategies and individually being able to nail your role out there on Saturday. And I think there's no doubt you'll see an improved performance from the Wallaroos this week.
Do you think there's issues though structurally within how the women's game is here and that country that need to be made up that you've got?
Oh, there's definitely differences, there's no doubt about it. But I think the Wallaroos are doing a really good job of where we're at. We're competing towards the World Cup, and for us, this is another stepping stone towards that World Cup. That's what the goal is, to be the world champions at the end of the year. And for us, any opportunity to play at home is something special, and to don the green and gold jersey, it's an extra special.
Just reflecting on last week, I mean, reviewing that performance, what do you think was kind of missing, particularly in that kind of first half that you can kind of look to address, particularly training this week?
Yeah, I guess for us, we were with them for probably the first 15 minutes, and then we struggled to, I guess, nullify their attack. We didn't front up in defence, and that was a big focus for us, is just taking the game to them. And I felt like we just sort of let the game come to us rather than taking those initial opportunities. And in our attack, we created opportunities. We just weren't able to pick the right option. And I think after the week's training of clarifying a few things in our roles and our responsibilities, we'll see a different result.
And bringing Pessi and Biana, is that kind of saying you just want to really try, as you said, try and take the game to them early on? Sort of how do you sort of kind of use their explosiveness and their kind of attacking ways?
Yeah, I think those two girls have been training really hard and they deserve their opportunity. I think Bian is going to be outstanding on the wing, a slightly bigger frame but a very strong ball carrier through the Australian Sevens program, and Pessi's coming in at centre as well. So, for us it's about, I guess, tinkering with our team, finding the best squad for the World Cup, and I think we've got a really strong outfit this weekend to put in a good performance.
Obviously there was a leadership change and you've come into the captaincy. How are you finding that? What do you think of that role?
Yeah, incredibly honoured to lead this team. I've done it a few years before, but for me it doesn't change the way I see the game or the way I play. And when I was asked to take on the reign, I was absolutely honoured. But I think for me the biggest thing is there's a number of other leaders in that squad that help me do it. I'm just the person that has the C next to their name and leads the team out. And we do have a really strong leadership group that guides the team in the right direction.
So from that first game in Fiji at the start of the year, what do you reckon is going to be the biggest areas of improvement that you've seen around this squad?
I think for us it's just time together in our attack and defence and clarity around our individual roles. And I think the more time we can spend together and the more time we can play together in the preparation for the World Cup is going to be good for us.
Last couple of things.
Don't want to look too far ahead, but with the World Cup coming up, this is the last game before you're facing New Zealand at Eden Park. How do you go about kind of continuing that continuity in between that gap?
Yeah, this for us is another opportunity. It's another opportunity to play the Black Ferns. They're one of the best teams in the world and you can't underestimate that. So for us it's going to be another challenge on Saturday, but one that the team's very ready to go for.
I guess with Grace Hamilton coming back in, have you sort of seen, after missing out last week, have you seen her response, and also Liz Pardue coming back in as well?
Yeah, they've both been really good. They've been training hard and they deserve their spot in the team, and I think we'll bring a lot of added ball carrying ability in our attack and really use those players that are the strong carriers to dint their line and hopefully get us front foot ball.